Hi guys. Hi guys. Welcome to our lesson on equations of circles, and you should be doing this on the 27th of February. And I need you to take careful notes as we go through this lesson. We'll be looking at writing the equation of a circle, writing the coordinates of its center and the length of its radius, the coordinates of the center and the point of the circle. We're going to be able to look at the graph and look at what the equation is, which is origin. We should be able to apply transformation to the graph, and we're going to transform our equation from general form to center radius by completing the square and vice versa. Alright, so just looking at the do now, I want us to just recall what the equation of a circle is when it's centered at 0, 0. The equation of a circle centered at 0, 0 should be easily identified as x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. And the equation of a circle centered at hk is x minus h all squared plus y minus k all squared is equal to r squared. Now let's just confirm this below. So here you are, FYI, and it gives us details and examples of what these equations look like, and I won't go in details because we should have had this covered in geometry. And this is what the diagram of a circle centered at 0, 0 with radius of 4 is. This one right here, right? So notice that we're going radius 1, 2, 3, 4 from the center, and the center is at 0, 0. Now here, this is our center, or 0. Our center is 2, positive 2 on the x-axis, and negative y on the y-axis. And then the radius is 1, 2, 3. So that's the radius. Now before we ask that you didn't like foil out this, but we're going to actually look at it and see what happens when we foil out this. So of course we're going to be multiplying this twice, or by itself twice. Then we'll be multiplying y plus 5 by itself 2 times. That's equal to 9. So we're going to end up with x squared minus 4x plus 4, that's just for this section here, plus y squared plus 10y plus 25 is equal to 9. Now we're going to group like terms. So we have our a plus 4 and our plus 25. So we're going to put x squared minus 4x plus y squared plus 10y plus 29 is equal to 9. Let's take away 9 from both sides because we want to make this equal to 0. Alright, and then we're going to end up with x squared minus 4x plus y squared plus 10y is, plus 20 is equal to 0. We could also rewrite this guy. We could also rewrite this guy and put it as x squared. Let's put the y squared here. Move back to 4x plus the 10. What is supposed to be y? I missed that one. 10y is equal to 0. And if you look at this form, this is the general form of a circle equation. Alright, so that's the general form of a circle equation, and look at it carefully. Know this because you need to know this, okay? Alright, now we are going to move from the general form here, and we're going to write it in center radius form. Center radius form is this form here that we are used to, right? So we have our center and the radius squared. And how we're going to do this, we have to use completing the square. And it's a complex form that is really not bad as long as you get the practice. So the first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to write the steps, right? So the first thing is we are going to group our x's group x's and y's. So we're going to take our x's, x squared minus 4x plus y squared. That should be minus 6y plus 8 is equal to 0. Another step is that we're going to isolate the constant to right, of equation. So we're going to isolate the constant to the right of the equation. So we have x squared minus 4x plus y squared minus 6y is equal to negative 8. Now we're going to fill in some blanks, right? We're going to create perfect square trinomials. And however we're going to do that, we are going to insert necessary values. Alright, just like completing the square. So I'm going to put information here. We're going to insert a value there, plus y squared minus 6y. And we also have to insert a value there. And then if we do that, we have to do the same thing to the right hand side. Alright, I'm going to erase this. So I must give you some time to copy this down. And then you'll be able to move on for the next value. Okay? Alright, so it's like completing the square, but then we have two sections. And we're going to look and see what numbers we have to fill in. Alright, so just like completing the square, if you look at this first half here, you're just going to treat it like how we would do completing the square. Now remember, in completing the square, we would find the middle term, we would half it. So this is our middle term, taking out that. We would half it and it will become negative 2, and then we square it. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. So our first term that we are going to insert is positive 4. Then we're going to do the same thing to the part with the y. We're going to take the middle term, which is negative 6. Half of that is negative 3. Then we're going to square it. Negative 3 squared gives us 9. Then whatever we do to one side, we have to balance our equation and do it to the other side, right? So we have adding 4 and we're adding 9. So what we're going to end up with is x squared minus 4x plus 4 plus y squared minus 6y plus 9 is equal to negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4 plus 9 is 5. And then we're going to, here we have, we can do the factoring. So end up with x minus 2. Why is it minus? Because we have a minus here. Okay, so the minus there. Squared plus y minus, because we have the minus here. So we're going to do minus 9, not 9. Of course, I'm wrong. So we're going to do 3 squared is equal to 5. And look at this. Ain't this in center radius form? So from there we can look at our center, which is normally h and k, is now equal to 2 and 3. Remember, it's positive 2 and 3 because in our original formula, the formula did say minus, right? And then our radius squared is 5, so r is actually the square root of 5. So to undo the square root, we have to square root, and that's why we get that. Pause the video now and take some notes, okay guys? Alright, so far the journey is definitely not bad. So let's make a discovery by example. How do the coordinates of the center of a circle related to C and D, and this is our general form, right? So this is our general form when the equation of a circle is in general form. So if we look at general form, this is an example right here, and we notice that C is -4 and D is 10 based on its position. And then if we should write it out, this is what we have, right? In example 1, and if we look at the center radius form, notice what center is 2 and 5. If you look at this one now, and then you look at this one, what you notice about C and H and D and K. So if we look at it carefully, right, and I want to see if anybody can get it. So pause and see if you guys could get it. Alright, so what it is that if you notice that C and D are times -2 of H and K respectively. Right? If you take H and K, you multiply it by -2, you'll get C and D. Ain't that something? Alright, so let's look at this question. Looks really familiar, right? Yes, takes us back to good old geometry. So it says to write the equation of a circle whose diameter has endpoints 4, -1, and -6, 7. What do we need to write the equation of a circle? We need a center, which is H and K, and we need the radius. Now if you notice in the question, it never said anything about center or radius. However, we know that the diameter is going to be 2 times radius, or radius is equal to half of the diameter. And if we want to find the center is in the middle. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to find the diameter first. And how we're going to use it? We're going to use the distance formula. So I'm going to break this in half. So using a distance formula. So this takes us back, guys. So we definitely have to go back to that. So D is equal to puffy shut eyes, square eyebrows, positive nose, and a square root head. Haha. And then you put your X's and your Y's, right? So where we're going to get our X's and Y's, we're going to get it from the coordinates given. Remember, we're finding the diameter, then we're going to half it. So it's going to be, or x2 is -6 plus, minus, 4 all squared plus y2 is 7 minus 1 all squared. So what do we get? We get -10 squared plus 8 squared, because this changes to that. We're going to change that to a plus, right? Alright, so what do we end up with is we get 100 plus 64 is equal to 164. Now, if d is equal to 164, we're going to simplify this. So it's radical 4 times radical 41. So it's 2 radical 41. Now this is a diameter. We have to find a half of it. So if we divide by 2, radius is a half of the diameter. Right? The diameter is that. So it's a half of 2 radical 41. If we put this over 1, we can cancel out. And then this 2 cancels out that 2. And then we end up with radical 41. And that is our radius. That's all we need for now, right? We're not even reached the center of the circle yet. So pause the video, write this down, and then we'll move on. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I did the midpoint, and the center is the midpoint of the diameter. And if you look at the work, you will see how I was able to get to it. Let me explain. We wrote the midpoint formula here, and then we substituted the x's, x1, x2, y, x1, y2, y1, and then we simplified, we got negative 2 over 2, 6 over 2, and then we got answers negative 1, 3, and that becomes my center here, the radius we calculated. We wrote the general formula of a circle right here in center radius form. Then from there we substituted and we simplified right here, and hence that's the equation of the center in center radius form. Alright, now let's look at this other question. They want us to write the equation of a circle below. It's shifted 3 units to the right and 4 units up. If we're shifting 3 units up, so it's 1, 2, 3, and then we're going, oh, I'm so crazy. We're shifting to the right, Miss Gordon, right? 1, 2, 3, right here. And then we're going to be shifting 4 up. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this thing needs to be calibrated. So this is our new center. Our new center would be 3, 4. And then the radius is the same thing. It's from 0 to 5. So the radius is equal to 5. So now we could write, I just want to write the equation of the circle. Write a general center radius form. And then we're going to just fill in the blanks. So h is 3, y is 4, and then the radius is, so it's 5 squared. Then you have to simplify this to, you don't have to write so many steps. If you want to write it in one step, that's no problem. I'm just doing this for teaching purposes. Alright, and that's our final answer. Alright? Alright, so now Alright, so I hope you guys realize what we did. I don't know if what was happening, I just got messed up a bit. So what we did was we went ahead and we wrote it out, divided by 2, because all of the terms were even, the coefficients were even, divided by 2. And we got this new guy right here. And then after we got this new guy right here, then we group x's and y's, isolate the constant, and then we end up with this situation here. And then I'm going to erase, as I said, and do what I got to do. Alright, so what we're going to do now is that we're going to insert those terms that are necessary for us to complete the square. So we're going to have x squared plus 3x. We're going to find a half of this middle term, and we're going to divide it by 2 and square it. So I'm going to write it as 3 over 2 squared, right? That is a little bit easier for us. Plus y squared minus 4y, taking this middle term, half it, that's negative 2, square it. That is going to give us a positive 4. And then, of course, whatever we do to one side, we have to do it to the other. So we're going to add 3 over 2 squared plus 4. Alright? Now I'm going to do a little bit thing. So now we can, over here, this comes out to x plus 3 over 2. All squared plus y minus 2 all squared is equal to, I'm going to handle this separately. So it's negative, I'm going to turn negative 6 into negative 24 over 4. 3 over 2 all squared is 9 over 4. And then 4, it can be written as 16. That's 16 over 4. And if we add the denominators, we have 1 over 4. Alright, so now we have our squared being 1/4. Now 1/4 is also a perfect square. So let us, if we look at this, that we realize that the center for this equation, right, is 3 over 2, 2. So h is 3 over 2 and k is 2. And then our radius R squared is 1/4. So the radius is 1/2. Now, I know that when you square root, you want to look for plus or minus, but we're talking about length or distance from the center, and distance can never be. So radius, diameter, distance can never be negative. So it has to be the positive. All right, so just to reinforce, what is due on Monday? I want this in your Barron's book, and I also want the journal. Advice is online. You could go and practice this. If you have time, you could actually go and do some questions now, and see if you guys as a group could answer the questions from regionsprep.org. Just click on this link and it should pop up. All right, guys, enjoy and make sure you have your notes. And I'll see you on Monday. Have your homework done. Late homework will not be collected. All right, enjoy.